According to the Latvian security police, in the last 4 years, Gaponenko has received over 80,000 euros from the Kremlin-controlled Compatriot Support Foundation. Another participant in the World Without Nazism event at the Ukrainian parliament was Maxim Reva. He was tried but acquitted in 2007 in Estonia for instigating the greatest unrest since the restoration of independence.
Я сказал еще раз, не кидайте бутылками, вы попадаете своим!
For 2 days and 2 nights, a crowd ran rampant in the center of Tallinn, protesting the decision of the Estonian government to move a monument to Soviet soldiers from the center of the city to the military cemetery of Tallinn.
Местные, конечно, подготавливают, так сказать, базу здесь. Из России люди сюда приезжали, свою работу сделали, деньги получили, езжали обратно в Россию.
За оцеплением просто люди заходят, проходят, можно подойти к памяти.
The trips of Kremlin-financed NGOs to other countries to stir up trouble is common practice. So is subsequently reporting it all on Kremlin-controlled TV channels. This video was filmed by a Latvian investigative program in 2010, when the Russia-sponsored activists were not yet hostile toward local journalists. They were hiding from the border patrol in the apartment of a local anti-fascist.
Пересечение границы в Эстонии. 11 человек было депортировано. Обратно. Один арестован, Сергей Чаулин.
Или вот тот компьютер посылает.
Мы проехали абсолютно открыто через эстонско-латвийскую границу. Нас никто не останавливал, не задерживал. Но зная то, что сейчас произошло с нашими друзьями, скорее всего, стоит погранслужба с целью нас депортировать.
Soon, a Russian television crew also arrived in the safe house.
Известно также, что какая-то группа нацистов, переодетых со свастикой и даже, по-моему, в советской форме, стоит в машине и рядом с полицией. И, видимо, ждать, когда мы выйдем.
With the help of Vladimir Buzayev, then a member of the Latvian parliament, and some other friends, Maxim Reva managed to leave the building through the back entrance.
Алло, да.
Быстро, быстро, быстро.
Все, больше не видно.
Все?
Мы едем.
Побежали.
Давай быстрее. Тут очень народу.
Ой, а эти кто такие?
Нет, я оттуда ушел сейчас.
Так, никто за нами не едет. Выходишь, заходишь Нарвесен, быстро, вот в этот магазин, на углу.
Эстонскому правительству не нравится то, что я делаю. Как я понимаю, теперь это не нравится латвийскому правительству. А делаю я очень простые вещи. Я борюсь с фашизмом.
Я как бы тут возле парка, вот там, с учетом того,
Где сейчас что действует это происходит? Ну, где эти сейчас фашисты?
Не знаю.
Нацисты?
Не хочу знать.
Ясно.
While Reva was sneaking around, other comrades who had arrived illegally were detained by the police in the center of Riga. One of the detained activists refuses to get out of the vehicle. The border guards warn them that they are ready to use force. Vladimir Buzayev uses his parliamentary immunity to protect the illegal immigrant. Nowadays, Buzayev is on the executive board of the Kremlin-financed NGO Human Rights Committee. If in Kiev they all represented one and the same organization, just 6 months later, they arrived at the annual Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe conference on human rights and democracy in Warsaw, each representing a different NGO. One of the sessions of the conference is dedicated to ethnic minority rights. The governments of the United States and Europe criticize Russia for the annexation of Crimea and worry about the situation of the local Tatars. Russian representatives are trying to steer the discussion in a different direction.
Мы выражали обеспокоенность положением в странах Прибалтики с образованием на русском языке. У нас это вызывает действительно обеспокоенность, и представители некоммерческих организаций, которые выступали после меня, они подтвердили, что эта обеспокоенность имеет место быть.
Russia paid for the defenders of Kremlin policies to travel to Warsaw.
Я получила деньги от фонда русского. Существует фонд поддержки и защиты прав соотечественников. И вот он нам выделил субсидию, естественно, не в полной мере, скорее всего. Мы попросили у российской организации, чтобы нам помогли.
Putin is trying to rebuild something a little bit more than a Russian sphere of influence. I think he wants to build a sphere of both inside the former Soviet Union and inside former Eastern Europe. He's looking to create a kind of network of people over whom he has control or who he can manipulate or influence. And that he's actually doing, I mean, in fact, he's doing all across Europe. He's looking to recreate a kind of network of contacts of people who will be somehow loyal to him or really to his kind of political system and his kind of politics.
Russia not only finances non-governmental organizations tied to politicians, but also works on having desirable candidates elected. In 2009, shortly before the European Parliament election in Estonia, Georgy Muradov came to the country. He was an experienced diplomat who at the time headed Moscow's Department of International Relations. Estonian security services assert that in 2010, he brought cash to politicians loyal to Moscow to stop them quarreling with each other and run on the same ticket. That year, Muradov went to Latvia as well to rally support for electing Tatyana Zhdanok, another Kremlin favorite, to the European Parliament. They went to locations important to the Russian community. They distributed money to war veterans.
Я здесь не случайно оказался рядом и вместе прибыл сюда с Татьяной Аркадьевной Жданок, которая является на сегодняшний день единственным нашим соотечественником, евродепутатом, которая реально и последовательно, ежедневно отстаивает интересы наших соотечественников в европейских организациях.
In an Orthodox church, the camera recorded what elsewhere took place behind locked doors. Muradov called for people to vote for Tatyana Zhdanok so that Moscow could have its loyalist in the European Parliament.
Надеемся, что вы Татьяну Аркадьевну, единственную нашу русскую представительницу в Европарламенте, поддержите.
Russia has financed at least 4 NGOs tied to Zhdanok. However, she denies that she protects Russia's interests for money.
You can say that I am receiving money from all over the world. I am maybe receiving money from Churchill, from Roosevelt, who signed together with Stalin Yalta Agreement.
Investing in this politician bore fruit. Tatyana Zhdanok became a member of the European Parliament in both 2009 and 2014.
Let us start.
She was an observer at the Crimean referendum, which was not recognized internationally. Zhdanok concluded that it had been conducted impeccably. The observer delegation included Putin sympathizers from the far right and far left parties of Europe.
Мы не заметили никаких нарушений избирательной процедуры.
At the European Parliament, Zhdanok's vote usually coincides with Russian interests.
I voted against the consent to the agreement. I regard this agreement as badly prepared. I voted against consent and resolution, which bears the spirit of division, not of integration of the European continent as a whole and the region of South Caucasus in particular. I voted against this resolution. For me, not only separate paragraphs, but also spirit of the resolution in general are unacceptable. How can people all over Ukraine, including Crimea, be not afraid of new provocations and murders if Catherine Ashton did not react in any way to this shocking news?
Gracias, colega.
Zhdanok uses the European Parliament not only as a platform for fiery speeches, but also as a venue for various events in support of Russian foreign policy. One of the examples is the tragedy in Odessa that took place in May 2014, when more than 40 people died.
Это уже проявление фашизма вживую. То, что состоялось, то, что произошло в Одессе 2 мая, это чистый фашизм.
Zhdanok organized a hearing of witnesses at the European Parliament. A book was presented in which the Ukrainian nationalists were made responsible for the tragedy. The event did not proceed according to plan. Local Ukrainians also came to the hearing, having invited their own witness to the tragedy in Odessa. Their conclusions did not correspond with Zhdanok's opinions.
This question must be asked. Just give it.
You came here to hear them.
We have people from Odessa here. What a unique opportunity to give a floor. Listen,
Listen to the truth, please.
Listen to the people from Odessa.
I do not at all respect the position of Tatiana. I never ever saw that Euromaidan is a fascist movement. I see that the problems in Donbass and the problems in Crimea started because of militant escalation of the situation by Russia and backed by Russia in Donbass. So it's I can't share her positions on this issue.
On Russian TV, it was announced that there had been no opposition and that all the attendants had supported Moscow's position.
Призывы начать международное расследование прозвучали в Европарламенте, где выступили очевидцы событий. Организатор заседания настаивает, что нельзя занижать опасность, исходящую от экстремистов, которые забрасывали Дом профсоюзов зажигательной смесью и избивали людей, пытавшихся спастись.
She wants to be helpful for Russia, to give possibilities for the propaganda in Russia that there is international support for her position. I have sometimes a feeling that her opinion, the Russian opinion, are very congruent, so it doesn't matter who is the starting point. Therefore, she always feels obliged to help Russia because it's her interest to make Russia stronger against the independence of neighboring countries.
Outside the Baltic countries, the Russian network is better concealed.
In Bulgaria, they have very strong links into the political system, and there's politically very influential organized crime. In Hungary, they go in through the energy sector by offering cheap energy deals. In Austria, it's mainly the banking system. In the Czech Republic, it's the use of bribery in business and politics.
This apartment building in Warsaw is the registered address of the European Geopolitical Analysis Center. It is not known in Poland, and only very few people would recognize the name of one of its directors, Mateusz Piskorski. He too is one of the founders of World Without Nazism. He is also a regular commentator on Kremlin-controlled TV channels.
Yesterday, the experts of the European Center of Geopolitical Analysis from Poland were witnessing the situation in Donetsk. They have seen civilians killed at the railway station there in Donetsk.
At the Crimean referendum, he was the coordinator of the delegation of international observers.
Не фотографируйте. Вам сказали фотографировать. А что происходит-то? Все нормально. Вы кто?
Вам сказано не фотографировать, чего делать.
А вы-то кто? Вы, я вижу, наблюдатель, я так предполагаю.
Если вам говорят люди за оружием, чтобы не фотографировать...
А вы наблюдатель, да?
Да.
Ну, я журналист, у меня другая работа. Я понимаю, что у вас
Я
работа...
понимаю, но я с вами еду в лифте, и, пожалуйста...
Ну, ничего, мне вас не жалко, как бы. Если вас заодно убьют, я не расстроюсь.
Вы знаете, можно?
Блин, что будем делать? Там тоже люди вооружены?
Да, там тоже.